Jazzcast Pros.
Listen, when we're talking about soul crushers, those people in your life that you may or may not even know, they could be complete strangers. They could be people that you know and love, that you think should be supporting you, that you're there for, but they may be speaking negativity into your life versus positivity, or they can be downright actual haters out to do you harm by way of words and using social media to disparage you, to kind of tarnish your good name and the work that you're doing. And so this episode is dedicated to, not to them, but to you and you overcoming and being able to live with those soul crushers.
Welcome to Living the Front Seat Life. I'm your host, Kelly Marie, and I invite you to take this journey with me. We're going to be talking about all things mental health and emotional well-being. You see, I am a overcomer. If you are interested in figuring out the path for you to determine how and where you will drive your future, this is the place to be. We get to determine the ride. We may not get to determine the weather or who's on the road with us or if it's going to be a scenic route or not. But we are the drivers. So join me on this ride, living the front seat life.
Welcome to Living the Front Seat Life. It's me, your coach with the most, Coach Kelly Marie, recording live from Buffalo, New York. I cannot wait to dive into this episode. Now, we're talking about soul crushers, the haters, the people that want to see you fail. How do you live with them? They're there. They are in your social media accounts. They're in your inboxes. They are giving you the side eye in meetings. How do you live with those folks? Because you can't just erase people, right? Like there's no Thanos here that can just get rid of, a couple people as if they never existed before. So we've got to find a way to live with those folks. So this episode is all about that, living with the soul crushers, living with the haters. So I am going to give you a couple of steps that you can use in order to stay healthy and not let them get to you. So welcome. I wanted to just frame our conversation today just a little bit and, really take some time and just understand that not everyone is rooting for you. Not everyone wants you to win. Not everyone wants to see you succeed. And that's unfortunate, right? Now, these could be strangers, people you've never met before. They can be people that you love and you think should be for you, friends and family. They could be acquaintances. Anyone can fall into this unfortunate position of being a soul crusher. Now, the reason why I'm calling them soul crushers is because that is what they can do. When given the proper energy, when given the right amount of care, they can be soul crushers. So how do you protect yourself? How do you set yourself up for success despite their negativity? Now, you know me, I'm totally transparent and I wanted to be able to bring in an expert kind of on like cyberbullying and talk about what that looks like to adults, right? What does the online experience, what can, the online experience look like? What does social media look like from this perspective of haters and soul crushers? But I wasn't able to grab anybody, and that's okay. So I decided to, in my, full transparency, just use what I have done and give you those steps that I've personally used to deal with these types of people. I have them. Yes, I do. I know that you love me, but not everyone does. And no, I don't know why, but that's okay. That's not even my business, right? How they feel is not my business. So how they feel about you is not your business. Your job is to be you. Your job is to be the light. Your job is to continue to thrive and continue to do the work that you are called to do. It doesn't matter what they think. It doesn't matter what they say. Now, let's keep it real. Words hurt, right? Words hurt. And, it just is what it is. I don't want to ignore the fact that what you read, what people say, their response or lack of response can have a negative impact on you. I don't want to be so naive. I don't want to minimize the words. I don't want to minimize the experience and tell you that words shouldn't hurt, because they do, whether they're spoken or written, if they're typed in a few characters or a whole paragraph, if you've heard them or if you read them. I mean, words do hurt. There's that old saying growing up, sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never hurt me. And that's like the biggest lie that I feel like we tell children. I hope that is not something that is still used and said, because I feel like it's setting us up for failure. It's setting us up to not be prepared when those words come and they hurt. You can develop tough skin, and that's a part of, the process. Yes, you can develop thick skin and those things kind of just roll off your back, but eventually those things can break you down. Or you can, come across something on a day where everything else is falling apart, and something that never bothered you before can be the slightest thing that can really ruin your day. So I want to give you just a few steps, and they're really common sense things, but I want to make sure that you are equipped and you are prepared as you do the things that you are called to do, right? As you live the life that's yours to live, how do you deal with, how do you manage those soul crushers, those haters, the people that don't want you to do well? And sometimes people mean well, but it doesn't come across that way. And it actually is negative. It's a negative comment or negative energy. So, how can you ward against it? How can you protect yourself? And I want to say, first things first, don't hide from who you are, right? You are an incredible human being, and you have a place in this world, whether you see it or not. And I don't want you to hide who you are because of what people think, or because of what people may say, or because of what they are saying. I want you to be your authentic self. I want you to show up as you every day. I want the world to know who you are, because there are people out there that are waiting for you to show up, that need you to be you, that need you to step into this world and say, here I am. So, first things first, I want to support you and encourage you to show up as your true, authentic self. And that may take some doing in and of itself, right? We have been molded and sculpted by our society to show up in a certain way, to, portray a certain face. And that's not always who we are. And so I encourage you to go through the process of, learning to be you, learning who you are, and being comfortable with who you are. Because when you're comfortable with who you are, when you know you, it is much more difficult for those soul crushers to do what they're setting out to do. That's how you set yourself up for success. Showing up as your authentic you is your number one way to set yourself up for success. Because here's the thing, let's say you are showing up with these different masks on, right? You're not being you, you're being the you that other people want you to be. Well, when those soul crushers come, when those haters come, when those folks that want you to fail begin to sow seeds of doubt, you are already living in doubtful space because you're not showing up as you, right? So you are being inauthentic. Whereas if you're showing up as you, if you know who you are, you know what you're called to do, or even if you don't know what you're called to do, but you are comfortable in your own skin, when they start spewing hate, when they start dragging your name through the mud, or when they start sowing seeds of doubt, you have the foundation of knowing who you are. You have the foundation of being your authentic self. When you're being your authentic self, you are standing firmly on your own personality, on your own look, on your own thought processes, on your own opinions, right? You are standing on you and you can justify who you are. No, you don't need to justify who you are to people, right? But when you're standing in your own true self, it is much easier for you to ward off those negative comments and haters because you're being you and who you know to be. So we'll call this step 2. When you are receiving negative comments, or again, even if it's well intentioned, like people that love you and care about you will say things and they mean well, but it is not a well received statement. It still has that negative impact and negative and has that negative effect on you, right? I don't want you to ignore it. I want you to process it. Now, you don't have to process all of it. Depending upon the situation, it may just be one or two things. Or, if you are a person that has a large following, you may be getting a lot of negative comments, and it's a spectrum, right? It could be one comment, it can be a million comments. Regardless, I want you to process it from a place of, is there anything in here? Is there anything that's being said that you can use to your benefit, or that you can use to help you reach your goals? Is there some truth in what's being said? Sometimes, people say some things that hurt, but it's truthful and you need to hear it in order to become a better person, right? So I want you to consider that. Is what's being said beneficial to you? Or is what's being said truly meant to harm you, to hurt you, or to be hurtful? If it's something you can use, if it's something that is true that you need to process and use to become better, then do that. Take that time, sit with that thing for a while, see where it fits, see how you can use it, how you can maybe adjust some goals or make some goals to become a better you. So there is one side of it, that the words that are being spoken are hurtful, but they're true, and they are not meant to be hurtful. They're meant to help. That's one group of comments, one group of soul crushing that exists. And I'm really not focusing on that today, but I do want to acknowledge it. The focus today is on the soul crushers, the people that are being malicious, those that truly mean to do you harm with their words, that don't want you to succeed, that would love to see you fail. That really is the focus for our conversation today. So the second thing you can do for that group of people is really work on developing higher self-esteem. So this really is a part of that foundation piece. It is fundamental and necessary in moving in this virtual world and moving in this world that's reopened, right? To increase your self-esteem. No matter where you are, no matter where you're on the spectrum of self-esteem, you can always increase your self-esteem, right? And maybe we'll get into that in another conversation. But finding ways to highlight who you are. You might make a list of all of your great qualities, right? You might have positive affirmations that you say to yourself. There are ways that you can go about increasing your self-esteem, and that will fill up your mental health bank so that when those words come, they have less impact. They're not able to really penetrate as deeply as they would if you had lower self-esteem. So self-esteem is really huge. The second thing you can do, surround yourself with positivity and positive people. When you are hearing positive things and you're surrounding yourself with good energy, positive people, like-minded individuals, it is easier, and I'm not saying it's easy, but it is easier to deflect, ignore, and process and move away from negative energy, negative comments, those soul crushers, those haters, the detractors, those that mean you harm or want to see you fail. When we surround ourselves with positivity and positive energy, positive surroundings, feeling good in your home, feeling good around the people that you care about and that care about you, it's like a shield. So when those words come, they hit the shield and they kind of bounce off. After a while, though, right, of being bombarded, the shield may not hold up, right? You may need some other tools in place to be able to help you. So the other thing is develop a support system, 2 or 3 people, folks that are close to you, that care about you, that understand the work that you're doing, right? And they don't have to be people that you see every day. They should be people in your group of folks that you can lean on, your general support system. But these folks have a specific task. Their task is to help you filter out the noise, right? Their task is to remind you of who you are. Their task is to know who you are, and be able to speak and pour into you, so that when the shield being bombarded and it's thinning out and you don't know, how long this shield of positivity can hold up, you actually have people there that can help stand in the gap. They can help filter out the noise. And again, these may be folks that you don't even hang out with. They may not be your girlfriends. They may not be the people that you go to the movies with, or happy hour or whatever. They have a very specific purpose in your life. And their purpose is to help you filter out that noise, to remind you of who you are, right? Those affirmations that you say to yourself, they're the kind of people that speak those things into your life. They truly remind you of all of the greatness, all of the positivity, all of the love that you exude. And then the last step that I'm going to give you is turn it off and walk away. So it may not be a literal turn it off, right? If you are on social media, yeah, turn that off. Close the app, put the phone down, walk away from the tablet, go do something else that is positive and fills you up, right? But if it's people that surround you, if it's people around you, you may have to physically walk away from those folks in order to protect yourself. Does that make sense? I want to make sure that you have these steps and these tools to add to your toolbox, so that when the haters come, when the soul crushers start crushing, when they want to see you fail, or they just don't want to see you do well, and people have their reasons, right? Most people are that way because they are hurting themselves, that they are broken themselves. And one, they want to feel better about themselves, so they want to make you feel bad about yourself. Somehow that math works for them. Two, they don't know any better, and all they know how to do is hurt. Some folks think that showing love is being hurtful, right? And we know that that is not true. So I want to make sure you have that little bit of understanding. I don't want to spend too much time in understanding them, because that's not your business, right? But at the same time, I want you to know that hurt people hurt people. So if you are in a place where people are spewing negativity, spewing hate, that they are attempting to bring you down, they're doing that because they themselves are hurting. So if you're just looking to kind of understand why they are who they are, that's why they're hurt, they're broken, and they need help. They need love. They need support. I'm not saying you have to be those things to these folks. I'm just giving you a little bit of insight into who they are and why they are who they are. So back to you though, because you are the reason why I'm here today. I want to make sure you've got those points down. right? So the first thing is you want to make sure you're being your authentic self. That is a whole process in and of itself. Yes, I know. But being your authentic self really is the foundation to being able to ward off and withstand haters and soul crushers. The second thing is surrounding yourself with positivity. The third thing is surrounding yourself with or having 2 or 3 people on your team in your life that know you and can speak positivity into your life. They help you filter out the noise. Because sometimes I just want to say, we'll hear something and we'll start thinking about it and marinating on it. And you need people to say, no, you're not going there. That's not you. You're not about to think about that. That's a lie. That is not who you are as a person. You are ABCD, right? So you need those kind of people in your life. And then finally, if it is overwhelming, if it's too much, or you see where it's going, you know where this conversation is going, you know where this thread is going, walk away. You don't have to put yourself in the position to be hurt. You don't have to put yourself in the position to have to implement the other steps, right? You can simply walk away, turn it off, put the phone down, turn off the computer or the tablet, and then go fill yourself with some positivity, right? So those are just a few ways that you can ward off and beat these soul crushers at their game. You now have a couple of more tools in your toolbox that you can use to create a healthier you, your best you, and the you love to show up as. So I have coming up, I've got a schedule of guests coming, and I'm really excited about all the folks that will be joining us here at Living the Front Seat Life to talk about health and wellness, mental health, and stories of survival. So tune in, save the podcast, like it, share it. If you're getting something out of this, let other people know. Send them the podcast to listen to. Make sure you comment. I am, learning more and more every day. I'm learning how to better use all this technology that I have at my fingertips. So I appreciate the comments. You mean so much to me. And I want to let you know that I see you, I hear you, and I love that you are on this journey with me. So until the next time, I encourage you to be the light and enjoy some sunshine. How about that? Go out and find some sunshine.